Good evening. I was recently asked to show you how I made this envelope journaling spot. Can't show you what's in it 'cause it's private. This is great for private journaling, hidden journaling, anything like that that you might not want people to see when you are flipping through your book. I also made it into a little tuck spot. That's what this little card is here. So yeah, it's sort of multi-purpose. So I'm going to show you how to do it. It's quite easy. First and foremost, you need an envelope. Okay, any envelope will do, as long as you are sure it will fit in your journal. Okay, it can have that kind of tab, it can have the V tabs, it can be a long thin envelope, it can be a big fat envelope, as long as you are happy with how it will look once it is in your journal. Now, step one is that you're going to deconstruct said envelope. Okay, these are just glued down. Okay, it's very, very, very easy. You want something thin that will get underneath it, not necessarily a knife, but something like a sort of spatula or a thin ruler or whatever. Get it underneath there and start working at it and pushing and working and working and working. I've already actually deconstructed this one just for ease of quick use. Make sure you've still got these little flaps. Okay, otherwise you end up with one long strip that when you fold it, it's going to look funny because you're going to be able to see the sides. All right, so you still want these little flaps in because they just finish it nicely, even though you won't be using them for this type of envelope. Then what you want to do is you want to get some card like so and trace around your envelope onto the card. Easy as that. These lines are just notes to myself as to this is where you're going to score. Okay. Then what you want to do is you want to grab yourself some beautiful paper. This is from Genevieve's Floral Whimsy. And then I personally prefer to trace onto the back because I don't feel like I'm spoiling the design, even though it's only going to be in pencil. That's absolutely fine. Just make sure that when you do it, you are not that you're in the right place, sort of thing. Now, this actually printed up smaller than I was expecting, so I am just gonna double check. Yep, that's absolutely fine. And then what you want to do is you want to trace around this. Okay, so just get a pencil and very lightly trace around. Take it away. That's what you've got. Which you probably can't see very well because I've been done it in pencil. Right, but you should have the outside edges of your template. Okay, cut it out, and then we're going to score your lines in. Another thing I like to do is I like to use a corner rounder just to make these look a little bit prettier. This is a 3 different size one, and I'm pretty sure I used the 7mm on my last one just to make it look nice. So that just gives it a nice little corner. Like so. This is all rubbish, you can now dispose of all of this. And what you should be left with, she says, is a pretty looking envelope. You don't need your scissors, you can put those away. Now, you don't have to have a scoreboard, but if you do have one, get it out and let's do some scoring. Now, you don't have to. If you want to, you can work out where to fold this, and I'll quickly show you how. It's simple. This you will fold from here to here, here to here, here to here, and here to here. So for example, on your side flaps, you would just take it over until it was folded all the way like so, you know, and crease it down. If you've got a bone folder, you know, get your bone folder in on it. I can't stand curved bone folders. I like this one, it's nice and straight. Yeah, give it a bit of a burnish. If you don't have bone folder, you can use anything. You can use the handle of your scissors, you can use a ruler, anything like that. if you've got a scoreboard and you want to score your lines, that's great. All you need to do is line up the corner of that part and the corner of this part, and then just score. Now this is only copy paste, so I really need to do it at once, and do the same for all of the other flaps. Like so. This is why drawing lines on your scoreboard is sometimes a little bit beneficial, because it means you can line up things like this, and then just fold in the rest of your flaps, give them a little burnish like so, and that's your envelope. Now you can pretty this up as much as you want to. What I chose to do was use an edging die. It was this one. I bought this on AliExpress to pretty the flap, okay? And what I did was I just made sure that the point of my die was roughly in the middle, like so. I made sure that nothing went over too much. Then I taped it down with a little bit of washi tape just to hold it. I'll just grab my Big Shot. This is a die cutting machine. Now when you do it, remember to open your envelope, because if you put it through like that, you're going to cut your envelope. So open the flap, yeah? Stick it down on there, put the plate over the top, and then just run it through. And very carefully peel off your... While washi tape is removable, sometimes it will tear if you're not gentle and loving with it. Now this doesn't quite stretch from side to side, so all you need to do is grab a pair of scissors and just follow the line on the outside like so. It's very easy. And there you go, suddenly you've got a very pretty flap for your envelope. So you can leave it like that, okay? You do not have to ink it up or anything like that if you don't want to. If you want it to look grunged or vintage style like this is, then you need an ink pad, okay? I would recommend, hang on, I just need to move some stuff so I can get in the right drawer. I would recommend vintage photo coloured distress or distress oxide ink from Ranger, okay? Grab yourself a dauber. You can use one of these, you can use a finger dauber, you can use a makeup sponge, anything like that is absolutely great. Now the idea is give it a good press, load up your daubing machine or your daubing pad or whatever you want to call it. I quite like the daubing machine idea. And then you just flick like so, but you have to do both sides, okay? So go along, flick, and then the messier you are, the realer it looks, if that makes any sense. Now you don't technically need to do both sides because you're going to be sticking this down, but if you weren't sticking it down, for example, if you wanted to use this as a regular envelope, which I might, then do all around this as well, okay? So I'm going to ink the whole thing up just quickly, just in case, because I quite like the pattern on it and I don't want to cover it up. It's quick to do. Right, then what you want to do is you basically want to do every fold, okay? So now you want to do along these folds. You also want to do the insidey bits. If you want it to look that little bit grunged up when you open it, go along there as well. If you really want to grunge it up, get another colour. You can get colours called tea stain. I'm just going to refold that ever so slightly because it's just off. You can get colours called tea stain or old linen or stuff like that. Old paper, sorry, and antique linen, which will you can use like all over your paper to make it look stained, so it's not white on the inside. Now, did I do both sides? Yes, I did. You also want to do all of your free edges inside and outside. Okay, so start at one corner, so that's the inside done. Now go around to do the outside. Because you flick from top to bottom, you probably could flick backwards and forwards, but I don't know that I would trust myself to not make a huge mess. That's it. Okay, that is that all linked up. So what I would do now, I'm just going to reinforce that fold. Just going to give it a extra burnish because I wasn't happy with the way that folded up at the bottom. There we go. And I'll give it an extra going over, which will hide that. That's beautifully. Once you've used your ink pads quite a lot, it holds an amazing amount of ink. And then that is your basic envelope. That is it. That is all you need. If you want to use this as a proper envelope, stick this bit down. If you just want to use it as a journaling spot, then don't stick it down, okay? You could, if it would aid you, which I did think about doing, but because I've cut this off, it's made it very small, but you could use magnets to help enclose this. So you could either stick a magnet on that side of the envelope and then on your flap, so that when you close it, it stays closed, which I seriously considered doing with that other one, and I might go back and do it because I don't think it would be too hard. You can get very, very, very tiny little magnets, which will aid with the closing of, and I'll show you how that works. Hang on, I'll just get my magnets. So these are the magnets. See how small they are? These are itty bitty. And what I would do is I would glue one on there. Okay, so I knew where to put it. And then I would put another one on the underside, like so. I'd have to move it over a little bit, but so once it's glued on there and you open it, it would, you know, I can't make it do it because they're not glued on, but you know what I mean. So then when you close it, it would pull your flap closed. These are very, very, very strong. Okay, so my worry would be about possibly ripping the paper. So I would maybe use a thin piece of metal instead of a magnet on the back of this, just to make it not quite so strong. Yeah, but you know, whatever works for you, whatever works for you. So that's one way you could close it. Let's see, what else could you do? I'm just trying to think of something that's thin and metal that I could use, because I don't have anything. Always the way, isn't it? I'm going around touching stuff with my magnet and it's not working. Oh well, I'm sure you think so. Maybe a soda can. You could cut a soda can up. That'd be a good idea. Use a small circle punch. That'd be a really good idea, actually. And then you could maybe cut another one of these out of this paper to hide your magnet underneath. That would look, you know, that would look quite good. And then all you do is you journal in here, however which way you want to do it. Close that up and magnetize it closed. That would work. That would work really well. I'm quite tempted to try that actually. But yeah, that's basically it. If you want to use this as a tuck spot, all you need to do is just adhere it down on 3 sides. Don't use tape. Okay, I know a lot of junk journalers do, but the thing is, tape never loses its stickiness. And if you've got tape exposed and you then go and tuck something in and you stick it in all the way down, it's going to actually end up sticking to that piece of tape. So when you try to remove it, it's going to be stuck and you could potentially damage whatever you tuck in behind that envelope. It'd be that way, wouldn't it? So like on this thing, I stuck this down with glue. If I'd stuck it with tape and I pushed that all the way down one afternoon without thinking about it and then just left it, it could end up sticking to the tape, which means when I yank it out, that side would end up damaged. Does that make sense? Use a bit of glue, just be patient, that's all it takes. Use a thin bead of glue there, and across the bottom. Okay, if you want to do the magnet, you want to stick the magnet on the underside of this, or your thin bit of soda can or whatever. If you're worried about your item catching it, stick a piece of tape over it. That works a treat. Okay, and it will allow it to glide over it. All right, and then that's pretty much it. There's not much else I can really advise you with as far as that's concerned. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's how it works. It's very, very easy, very, very lightweight. If you want to make this a little bit more robust, use scrapbook paper, you know, the card type stuff. Use that. Print your design up on heavier weight paper. Not this is copy paper, you know, but I mean, so is this, and it worked very, very well because I knew I wasn't going to be putting too much pressure on it. So, pardon me. So yeah, if that's something you want to try, by all means, you know, use a heavier, sorry about that, use a heavier weight paper, use a bit of card, whatever you want to do, and then you just literally stick it down 3 sides and you've then got yourself a tuck spot. If you wanted to use this as a tuck spot, again, stick those sides down and you can use the entirety of this as a tuck spot. So I just thought it would give me a good idea. You've got all this real estate that you could write on, and it worked really, really well. You've got prettiness of the envelope on that side, which is absolutely great. So there you go. I hope you found that helpful. If you did, please feel free to give this video a thumbs up. Any comments, suggestions, questions, feedback, please do leave them down below. And I'll see you next time. Take it easy. Bye.